Hey guys, thanks for participating in the fundraiser. Today we're going to be showing you how to make pan-fried beef buns. Enjoy! To make this easier, you're encouraged to follow along in the recipe manual.
The first step is making the dough. For that you'll need 9 cups of all-purpose flour, 3 cups of water, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of yeast. First, to make the batter, you want to mix the sugar, yeast, and salt with warm water. Mix well. Add 9 cups of flour. Mix well. You'll know when to stop when it starts becoming a dough. And don't splash or you might get wet. Next, you want to start kneading the dough and adding extra dry flour until it has a smooth consistency. When you get it looking something like this, you want to drape a clean, wet towel over it and let it sit for 2 hours. By the time 2 hours is finished, it should rise twice its original size.
The second step is making the stuffing, and for that you'll need 1 pound of lean ground beef, 1 yellow onion, a little ginger and green onion, 1 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, a tablespoon of soy sauce, a teaspoon of sesame oil, 1 teaspoon of starch, 2 tablespoons of water, and 1 tablespoon of cooking oil.
Cut up the ginger and the green onion into small pieces. Pour it into some hot water so the water can soak up the flavor. To make the stuffing, you'll need your beef, your soy sauce, the black pepper,
I just eyeball it.
the sesame oil,
Start mixing.
and you want to separate it using one way or another. Sometimes the beef will separate your utensil instead. Yeah, this is better. Slice and dice your onions. It won't be any harm.
你怎么不来切？
It's a film.
都是我做的，
You were gonna make it anyways.
你就负责吃。
我负责 edit.
Okay, that's the harder part. Technology works longer.
After you have finished pulverizing the meat, you want to add starch, the ginger and green onion water. This will tenderize the meat a little. As always, mix well. Turn your stove to medium-high heat and add about 2 tablespoons of cooking oil. Add the onions and you want to saute them for about 3 to 4 minutes until they become transparent. Transparent? What's wrong with that? Clearish? Are they supposed to be brown?
Until you smell the flavor.
Okay, until you smell the flavor. Yeah, we can smell it now, so we're gonna take it off the heat. And you want to let it cool down for a little bit before adding it to the rest of the stuffing. Now you want to add salt to the meat. After 2 hours, the dough should be looking something like this.
Squeeze the air out.
You want to squeeze the air out.
It's the most enjoyable part.
Sprinkle some dry flour on the dough and then just knead it into a ball. Press as much air out as you can.
And move to a board now.
And transfer your dough over to the board. After you finish kneading it, stretch it out into a long piece like this and divide it into 3 even pieces. You want to shape each of one of those 3 small pieces into a long cylindrical piece like this. Once you have all 12 pieces pressed down, you want to use a roller and evenly flatten it out even more. Once you've pressed out all the pieces of dough, you want to take a piece of stuffing and place it in the middle. Pinch off a piece of the edge and start pinching more off and stacking them on top of each other in a circular pattern. Eventually, you'll be able to completely enclose the stuffing. Once you've done that, try to twist the top in a circular pattern and you'll be able to get the pretty look that my mom has right now. You can add a bit of dry flour and that way it won't stick to wherever you're putting it. The last part is frying. We're using an electric skillet here, although any non-stick flat skillet will do just fine. Turn it on medium heat and add a little oil. Once you've distributed the oil across the pan, you can start putting in the buns. Add about a teaspoon of cornstarch and a cup of water. After 5 minutes is up, you want to sprinkle about half of the water in and cover it right back up. After this, you want to wait about 10 minutes. By then, the water should be dried out. 10 minutes is up. We'll see if they're done. Let's turn off the heat. And if they're finished, they should have a brown sheen on the bottom. How is it? Say something. Is it good? Okay, that's a one-liner. That's a one-liner, isn't it, Matthew?
Thanks for listening in.